family. All right, let me cut that down. Hope you've been having a fantastic week. It's been fan glorious to me. That's fantastic and glorious. Been a good week. Been able to get a little rest, which is good because I've been working, trying to move from that space of overwork to that space of restorative rest. So I was able to get some of that today. This week. And wound up having a great day. So the 7 spaces of healing is available for purchase now on Amazon. There's a link in the description and a link in the chat. I'm excited about that because it's our first published book, self-published. We're probably going to do that a lot. Of course, there'll be many more to come, but this is the first, and I'm excited about it. It is a great starting point for anyone who is looking for what to do next or what to do first on their journey of healing. The 7 spaces you want to cultivate within yourself, and the 7 spaces that you need to place yourself in that will support your healing journey. Those places are a space of healing, a space of trust, a space of risk, a space of accountability, a space of forgiveness, and a space of solitude. Not a very difficult read, not too long. It is a good manual to get you started on your journey. If you are new here, this is Soul Swami Live, where we discuss all things healing. Tonight is a spinoff of our Tuesday night show. Tonight is book club, where we are continuing to read Razorblade Tears by S.A. Cosby. I always want to say Crosby, but S.A. Cosby. And you can also catch us Tuesday nights, where we discuss all things healing. And we we just finished our series on identity and how to separate our new identity from our old identity. And we learned it's more about integration and less about leaving something behind, right? And next week we will begin discussing the laws of attraction. There are 7 laws of attraction, and we will begin discussing those. So generally at the beginning of every show, we do a little energy work. And this week we are on the heart. The heart is the energy point for your love, your compassion, your kindness, your acceptance, and your empathy. If you are into color therapy or light therapy, you want to make sure you spend some time at green. Green is the color for your heart. It is the element for that is air. So you can get some air. I'll be mindful of the words you say because you control some air as well. If you are into essential oils, you want to think of rose, jasmine, geranium are all very good for your heart. If you are into crystals and gemstones, you want to think emerald, jade, green calcite, rose quartz, green tourmaline, or aventurine are all very good for your heart. So the next thing we generally do during this time is a little bit of sound therapy. And I'm just going to play the bowl. We're going to keep it simple tonight so we can get into the reading. You gotta forgive me. That's one of my, what they call it, stimming now. And that is one of my favorites. I say that thing all the time. And if you don't know where I got it from, it is from the Wayans brothers. They're brothers. We're happy and they're singing and we're colored. Do. Pops. You just say it all the time to get crunk. So I got that. So anyway, we start with a little bit of sound therapy. Tonight we're going to use the bowl. And then we move into some breath work and some affirmations. So now at this point, all you got to do is just be in a space where you can relax and allow the sound bowl to work with you how it does, family. For our breathing exercise this week, I think we're going to do box breathing. If you are unfamiliar with box breathing, it is you breathe in for a 4 count. You hold your breath for a 4 count. And you exhale or release for a 4 count. But during this time, all you really have to do is just focus in on your breathing and navigating your energy as you need to, and just listen to the sound of my voice as I will direct you through this breathing exercise and keep the count for you. Again, it is you breathe in for 4, you hold for 4, and you release for 4. On the count of 3, we will start our breath work. 1, 2, 3. Breathe in 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold 4, 2, 3, 4. Release 4, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold 4, 2, 3, 4. Release 4, 2, 3, 4. Breathe in 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold 4, 2, 3, 4. Release 4, 2, 3, 4. Last time, family. Breathe in 4, 2, 3, 4. Hold 4, 2, 3, 4. Release 4, 2, 3, 4. Now, during this time, I want you to continue being mindful of your energy. And in between your breaths, you breathe in and then repeat the affirmation after me and release. So breathe in, family. I love myself and others. I deserve to be loved. I forgive others easily. My heart is fully open, loving, and pure. I follow the voice of my heart. I love myself and others. I deserve to be loved. I forgive others easily. My heart is fully open, loving, and pure. And I follow the voice of my heart. All right, family. Let's get this party started. Again, I'm excited. Again, get you a copy. 7 Spaces of Healing is available now. It's the first of many, many books that we will have together. So, support the soul family. Invest in your healing by equipping yourself with tools that can help guide you in the directions you need to go. And prioritize yourself, family. I forget where we are in the book. I know he met Mr. Get Down. Mr. Get Down. Okay, so I'm not crazy. So, side note, is a show on Apple TV called Changeling. And as a matter of fact, I did a search for it, and Reddit, they was talking bad about it, but Reddit got some haters sometimes. You did. So, well, anyway, there's there's this movie called, show called Changeling on Apple TV. And I loved it. I thought it was great. Was looking forward to second season. And I don't know if they're going to have a second season. But come to find out, which I didn't recognize, that one of the authors that we've been reading, we read Lucretia and the Croons. What else did we read? I might dang. What else did we read? I know it was that old 5% book, The Ballad of Black Tom. We read that too. And that was pretty good. But one of the authors we've been reading on book club actually wrote the book for that movie. So we probably gonna read that book next, because your boy want to know what happens next. And since there won't be another season, in theory, we probably gonna read that book. All right. So where are we? For real, for real. Cleanse the Heal. Medical medium Cleanse the Heal. The Lost Book of Herbal Remedies. Message to the people, John. We might need to read that. Are you playing? Oh yeah, they tried to finally, the biker gang went scratched. Not the biker gang. That's second. First, Ike and Buddy Lee, they finally got the address of Tangerine, and they were at her house when the bike gang showed up too. Had a little shootout, and Tangerine, Ike, and Buddy Lee were able to escape. A couple others were not as lucky. So that's where we're at now. They escaped after the shootout with the biker gang, and they were driving around. Chapter 33. Pull over, Ike hollered from the truck bed. Buddy Lee didn't seem to have heard him. The truck shimmied and shook as it flew down a single-lane backstop. Ike could see the needle on the speedometer was ticking past 90. Buddy Lee, pull over so I can get in, Ike said, using the full force of his voice. He saw Buddy Lee's watery blue eyes in the rearview mirror. The whine of the engine eased, and the truck coasted to the shoulder of this road. Ike hopped out and jumped in the cab. He'd barely shut the door before Buddy Lee took off, tires spinning and gravel shooting up in the air. Ike felt something warm and moist against the small of his back. He leaned forward, and as he did, Tangerine slumped over in his lap. He grabbed her by her narrow shoulders and set her up. Fuck, Ike whispered. Tangerine's right side was bathed in red. A bullet hole the size of a dime in the crook of her elbow was vomiting blood at an alarming rate. What? Somebody behind us, Buddy Lee said. His eyes scanned the rearview mirror and side mirrors. Ike took off his shirt and his belt and wrapped it around Tangerine's arm, then clenched it tight with his belt. A huge dark wet spot radiated out from Tangerine and stretched across the truck's bench. She's hit, Ike said. What? Fuck, shit, god damn it to hell. Is she dead? Buddy Lee asked. Ike put his finger against the side of her neck. He felt the pulse flickering like the frantic wings of a bumblebee. She ain't dead, but she might be in shock, Ike said. He pulled the cell phone out of his pocket. He dialed Maya's number. His fingers left muddy splotches on the touchscreen. What's your address? Ike asked as the phone rang. Huh? What? Buddy Lee said. We need to get her looked at, and we can't go back to my house. They don't know where you live. What's your address? Ike said. Oh, 2354 East End Road, Buddy Lee said. Maya picked up on the fourth ring. Ike, meet us at 2343 East End Road. Bring your first aid kit. We'll be there in 30 minutes, Ike said. Are you hurt? Maya said. Ike winced. There was something broken in her that just started to heal. He heard it rip wide open with that question. Not me, not Buddy Lee, but we need your help, Ike said. All right, she said. She hung up right before she could say more. Shouldn't we take her to a hospital, Buddy Lee asked. Doctors got to report gunshot wounds to the cops. There are three dead bodies back there. You want to explain that to the police, Ike asked. What if she dies, Ike? She's the only one who knows who this son of a bitch is, Buddy Lee said. Buddy, we can both get hemmed up for this shit, Ike said. Buddy Lee bit the corner of his bottom lip. But if she tells the cops, did you hear what she said? This guy is so connected, he might have cops in his back pocket, Ike said. Can't be all of them, Buddy Lee said. He took a sharp curve at 60 miles an hour, then kicked the truck back up to 80. A groan escaped Tangerine's lip. Ike leaned her head back to make sure she could breathe. We can't win, we can't, Tangerine whispered. Stay with me, girl, Ike yelled. He put his arm around her and let her lay against his bare chest. Buddy Lee, listen to me. We go to a hospital, we're going to have a lot of questions to answer, Ike said. You told me you was willing to do anything to get these people who killed the boys. Did you mean it? Because I did. If I got to go back inside for this bastard to get caught, then I'm going to be a new orange jumpsuit and some slippers. Now, how about you, Buddy Lee asked. Ike closed his eyes so tight he thought his eyelids might pop off his face. She said him and his people was rich, right? That mean he gets rich man justice. We'll be inside, and the boys will be dead, and he'll get a fancy lawyer to make everything go away. Hell, he'll probably kill Tangerine for shits and giggles. Buddy Lee, we can't fix this if we doing 25 to life, Ike said. Buddy Lee took his eyes off the road for an instant and looked at Ike. Did we get that girl's mama killed, Ike? How did them Peckerwoods find us? Did they follow us? 'Cause if they did, they was mighty slick about it. Ain't like you can sneak up on a body if you in a hurry, Buddy Lee said. Tangerine mumbled again. No, when? We can't. Ike smoothed her hair down. Her skin was clammy to the touch. The only person that knew where we was going was Slice, Ike said. That statement didn't need any more explanation. Buddy Lee struck the steering wheel with the palm of his hand. That cocksucker. But why? Didn't you say you took care of the boy that killed his brother? Why would he double-cross you like that? Buddy Lee said. I don't know. I think the thing about Luther might be part of it. Deep down inside, he was pissed at himself because he didn't handle it, and pissed at me because I did. Still don't explain how him and the rare breed know each other. I didn't think they ran in the same circles. But Slice has his fingers in a lot of pies, I guess. We're going to have to circle back to that another time, though, Ike said. Tangerine mumbled something else, but it was insubstantial. Ike couldn't catch it. We in over our heads, ain't we, Ike? Buddy Lee said. It wasn't a question. Ike smoothed Tangerine's hair. It don't matter. We gotta finish it. They pulled up to the trailer so hard and fast, Buddy Lee had to stand up on the brake. The truck slid across the gravel and came within 5 inches of Maya's car, which was parked half a step away from Buddy Lee's front door. Ike was out and running to the house with Tangerine in his arms before Buddy Lee could shut off the engine. Maya hopped out of her car with a diaper bag over her shoulder and Ariana in her arms. Buddy Lee killed the engine and climbed out of the truck with his keys in hand. Open the door for Ike. I'll get a little bit, Buddy Lee said. Maya traded him Ariana for the keys and went to his door. As he walked back to the truck with Ariana, Buddy Lee heard a gentle tap, tap, tap sound. He squatted down to his haunches with the little girl in his arms. She giggled as he groaned. There was a thin but steady stream of oil leaking from the undercarriage. I know I rode you hard, girl. Just hold out a little bit longer, Buddy Lee thought. He straightened and went to the rear of his truck. He used one hand to drop the tailgate. He sat down and balanced Ariana on his lap. She pawed at the scruff on his chin. I sure do need a shave, don't I? Grandpa looking like a werewolf, Buddy Lee said. Why don't me and you stay out here for a minute? You want to sing a song? You know, I saw the light. Hank Senior used to sing that one. My mama loved that song. She sang it at us once. She was trying to keep us occupied because our lights was off and my daddy had run off with the money for the bill. See, I can tell you all this because you ain't going to remember it. Hell, you might not even remember me, Buddy Lee said. Take it to the kitchen, Ma said. Ike swung to the right and carried Tangerine into Buddy Lee's tiny kitchen. It was more like a kitchenette. Buddy Lee had an old yellow chrome and formica table. Ike swept a few dishes onto the floor with Tangerine's feet and lay a prone form across the table. Maya unloaded a diaper bag. Ike saw a bottle of alcohol, bandages, sutures, and rubber gloves. Go on outside. I'm going to try to make this as sterile as possible. You sure, Ike said. Isaac, you're just going to get in the way, she said. Using his Christian name was Maya speaking for I'm not asking. Ike went outside and closed the door behind him. He saw Buddy Lee and Ariana singing on the tailgate. The little girl was giggling and Buddy Lee made exaggerated faces as he sang a tune Ike didn't recognize. It sounded vaguely religious. Buddy Lee had a powerful melodious voice that rose and fell in the right places. Ike couldn't carry a tune even if it was in a bucket. Ike didn't want to intrude, so he sat on Buddy Lee's center block steps. Barely a minute later, Buddy Lee picked up Ariana and joined them on the step. He set Ariana on the ground. She immediately picked up a rock and threw it in the air. She reminds me of Derek. He'd find a stick and play by himself until the cows came home, Buddy Lee said. Ike hugged himself, squeezing his own shoulders. Twilight was rapidly approaching and the temperature was dropping just as quickly. Isaiah would make up stories about some elves that lived in the trees in the backyard. It was a whole saga with wars and marriages and shit, Ike said. You think she gonna make it? Tangerine, I mean, Buddy Lee said. She'll make it. Question is, will she tell us who the guy is? Ike said. Ariana plopped down on her butt and banged two rocks together. She really done convinced herself that he loves her. Like she don't believe he had nothing to do with all this, Buddy Lee said. You love a person enough and you'll make excuses for almost anything. I saw guys on death row get requests from conjugal visits from women on the outside, Ike said. Yeah, but them women's crazy, Buddy Lee said. Love is kind of crazy, Ike said. Buddy Lee toed the gravel with the tip of his boot. He had no witty rejoinder in the chamber for that one. Buddy Lee Jenkins, who the hell let you watch their child? Margot asked. Buddy Lee and Ike stood up. Margot, funny. Buddy Lee and Ike stood up as she came around the corner of Buddy Lee's truck. First off, I'm an excellent babysitter. Second, this ain't just any little child. This my granddaughter, Ariana, Buddy Lee said. He scooped Ariana up off the ground. If you're such a good babysitter, why you let her sit on the ground? Jesus H. Christ, Margot said. Little bit, can you say hi to the mean lady? Buddy Lee said. Margot slapped him on the arm. Don't pay him no mind, cutie pie. Ain't you just about the prettiest little thing I've ever seen in my life, Margot said. She ruffled Ariana's hair. And who is this here tall drink of water with phobia against his shirts? Margot said. Ike instinctively crossed his arm. Margot smirked and winked at him. I'm Ike. I'm Ariana's grandfather too, Ike said. Margot nodded. Well, nice to meet you, Ike. Piece of advice. Don't let Buddy Lee let your granddaughter sit on the naked ground. My son got trichinosis like that. Well, I'm off to bingo. Y'all keep your eye on this little beauty. She here when I get back. I might just have to steal her, Margot said. All right, have fun, Buddy Lee said. I'd ask you to come with me, but I'm afraid You'd be like your friend here and lose your shirt. They got jokes. Margot said. She disappeared around the corner of her trailer. A few seconds later, they heard her Volkswagen Bug start up and take off out the trailer court. Ike thought the Bug's engine sounded like an outboard motor. You and her friends, Ike said. He raised his right eyebrow. She's my neighbor. She's a good woman. Not big on taking any shit, Buddy Lee said. She like you? What? No. We just neighbors, Buddy Lee said. You think what you want, but I bet if you had taken her up on offer, you'd be playing bingo right now, Ike said. Friends can go to bingo, Buddy Lee said. Ike noticed his ears were turning a soft shade of crimson. Did you like the lady a little bit? I'm a little afraid of her, Buddy Lee said. He bugged his eyes out and blew air between his lips. Ariana let out a high-pitched squeal. Ike lowered his head and silently traced the fissures in the center blocks between his legs. Look at what you're missing. What you missed with her daddy. A voice in his head whispered. The worst thing was he knew the reason why he wouldn't allow himself to get closer to her. For the first time since she had come to live with them, it made him ashamed. Ike wondered, how many chances does a man get to make it right decision before fate decides he doesn't deserve another bite at the apple? Maya stuck her head out the door. We need to talk, she said. Ike and Buddy Lee and Ariana entered the trailer. She'll make it, Maya said. She was standing next to Buddy Lee's table. Tangerine was laying on her side with her back towards them. She's lost a lot of blood, but that wound on her arm is in and out. I can't be sure without an x-ray, but it doesn't look like it shattered any of her bones. She might have some nerve damage, though. She wasn't in shock. She just fainted. She's going to need a place to rest, and somebody's going to have to change that bandage and clean it. Now, do you want to tell me who she is and how she got that hole in her arm, Maya asked. She's the girl Isaiah and Derek were trying to help. We think her boyfriend was in on this shit that got the boys killed. We went to talk to her about going to the cops, Ike said. He thought, or telling us who her boyfriend was so we can cut his fucking head off. But Lee picked up the explanation. Some boys found us and shot up our house. They shot her mama too. We think the same sons of bitches that killed our boys, Buddy Lee said. Maya put her hands to her mouth and closed her eyes. Did she tell you anything? Maya mumbled from behind clasped hands. Ike shook his head. Maya pulled hands away from her face. This poor child. We have to get her someplace safe where she can heal, Maya said. I think I know somebody, Ike said. Are they an ally, Maya asked. A what? Ike said. An ally. Isaiah told me. She paused. Isaiah told me that that's what you call someone who was LGBTQ friendly, Maya said. Let me guess. She's secretly a lesbian, Buddy Lee said. Maya looked over her shoulder at Tangerine's prone form. Wrong letter, Maya asked. Ike frowned. What are you talking about, Puddin'? Ike said. He hadn't used that term of endearment in so long it surprised him. By the ways Maya's eyebrows arched, it surprised her too. She rubbed her hands on her pants. Your friend is a transgender woman. Oh, wow, okay. Wherever you take her, they need to be an ally. You don't need to take her to somebody that's going to kick her out on the street if they find out, Maya said. Ike sat down on the arm of Buddy Lee's sofa. Buddy Lee put Ariana down. She ran to Maya and grabbed her grandmother's leg. Wait, so she's a he? Buddy Lee asked in a low tone. No, she is a she who has not had gender reassignment surgery yet, Maya said. Buddy Lee sat next to Ike on the couch and dropped his head. He ran his hands through his hair. And I thought this day couldn't get any crazier, he said. You called her a she, but she still has a, Ike said. He let out the statement hanging in the air. She is presenting as a woman. She seems to be living as a woman. So she is a woman, Maya said. They teach you all about that in the hospital, Buddy Lee asked. Thanks for stopping by, Taz. Some of it, yeah. Most of it is just being respectful of people and accepting them for who they are, Maya said. Ike felt her gaze boring a hole in him like she was wielding an earth's auger. No one spoke for a moment. Maya scooped up Ariana and let her lay her head on her shoulder. She's pretty, Ariana said. Maya said. She pretty, Ariana said. Maya turned and saw Tangerine giving Ariana a weak wave. Ariana waved back. I guess we should go back to my sister's, Maya said. No, not yet, Ike said. What you mean, not yet? You the one who told us to leave, Maya said. Yeah, I know. Now I'm thinking I don't want you on the road alone. I'm going to take Tangerine to a place she'll be safe. Y'all stay here and wait for me until I get back. Then I can drive you to your sister's and Buddy Lee can follow us, Ike said. Where you taking her, Buddy Lee said. No place you need to know about. If you don't know, you can't tell, Ike said. I wouldn't tell Ike, Buddy Lee said. He sounded affronted. I know you wouldn't want to, but if them boys catch you, they gonna push you real hard. This way you can't, Ike said. Buddy Lee went to scratch his chin and stopped. That's why our friend's so hot to put her in the ground, Buddy Lee said. It ain't just about him having a girlfriend who knows some shit about him. It's about who she is, Ike said. You think Tyreek knows too? That why he put his boys on us like that, Buddy Lee said. Makes sense. Hardcore hip hop producer don't want nobody to know he on the down low. I'm not gay, a weak a weak voice said from the kitchen. Ike and Buddy Lee shared a look that was becoming their shorthand. Ike stood and went into the kitchen. Tangerine was sitting on the edge of the table. Maya had fashioned her a sling out of Buddy Lee's bed sheets. Her hair was stuck to her face. She had a beach towel with the words Atlantic City silk screened on it, wrapped around her like a toga. You're not, Buddy Lee said. No, I'm not, Gomer Pyle, Tangerine said. I'm so confused, Buddy Lee said. He leaned back against the couch. Ike went and stood in front of Tangerine. We got to get you somewhere safe, Ike said. I was somewhere safe. I was safe and my mama was alive, she said. They were going to find you eventually, Ike said. You don't fucking know that, Tangerine said. Yes, I do. Because your boy, whoever he is, he don't want nobody to ever find out he was with someone who was. Ike stopped himself. He was still making bad decisions, still saying the wrong things. Say it. I've heard it before. Somebody like me. Even my mama used to call me a fucking freak. She wouldn't call me Tangerine. Said she named me after my daddy. That was his name and I should be proud to have it. And now she's dead and she'll never be able to call me by my real name, Tangerine said. She began to weep. Great racking sobs that made Ike's chest hurt. He went to her and before he knew what he was doing, he tried to put his arms around her. She pushed him away. Ike stepped back with his arms awkwardly open. Tell us his name, sis. Let's put this thing to an end, Buddy Lee said. You don't fucking get it. We love each other. He's not in control of this. I'm not saying he's not involved, but he's not the one doing this, Tangerine said. Her cheeks glistened and her tears soaked her face. Tell us, Buddy Lee said as gently as he could. He killed our sons. He sent people to kill you. They took your mama from you. Tell us, Tangerine, Ike said. He put his hand on her shoulder. Excuse me. But in his mind, he was touching Isaiah. She wasn't his son. But he felt like through her he could glean an inkling of the pain and misery and sense of unfairness that he could never experience, that people who lived under an umbrella made a panoply of letters knew intimately. Excuse me. How many times Isaiah cried the way Tangerine was crying right now, wept until he found the strength to live as who he was meant to live, as a man who was so much more than who he slept with, who had a father who refused to see him as anything more than a disappointment. You still love him, don't you? Ike asked. Tangerine didn't answer the question. I just want all this to go away, she said. It ain't going nowhere, girl, Buddy Lee said, but Ike held up his hand. Let's get you some clothes. We're going to take you somewhere you can be safe, okay? Ike said. He let her go and gestured with his head for Buddy Lee and Maya to follow him. They all stepped back outside. You think you got a couple of spare shirts and a pair of pants me and her can borrow? Ike asked. Buddy Lee nodded. I don't know about you, but my shirt should fit her. Jeans too. You gonna look like you wearing your baby brother's clothes if you if you put on one of my shirts, but it's gonna be super tight. I got a couple of my t-shirts in the back seat, Maya said. That's a good thing, Puddin', Ike said. She gotta tell us, Ike, preferably sooner than later. Buddy Lee said with a hushed tone. Her mama got killed right in front of her. A dude she loves is trying to kill her. She can't tell us nothing right now. Let's get her someplace safe, give her some time, Ike said. We need that name, Ike, Buddy Lee said, and she needs to come to terms with the fact that she was in love with the punch. The man she was in love with punched her mama's ticket, Ike said. All right, you take her to the hen house for the foxes can't find. I'll stay here with Maya and Little Bit. But the clock's ticking. I ain't gonna tell you that, Buddy Lee said. These men that killed her mama, are they the same people that followed me the other day, Maya asked. Ike sighed. Yeah. If you find this boyfriend, are you gonna kill him, Maya asked. Buddy Lee moved away from the three of them and inspected his undercarriage again. Yes, Ike said. Maya rocked side to side gently as Ariana played with her braids. Good. Here, hold her for a minute. I might have some sweatpants in the back seat too, she said, handing Ariana to Ike. He swallowed hard and took her in his powerful hands. Ariana reached up and pulled on his chin. You couldn't have left her with Anna? Ike asked. Maya stopped and leaned against the trunk. Anna's out. Nobody's at the house but us. Couldn't leave her there alone, trust me. I didn't want to bring her here for this, Maya said before she disappeared in the back seat. When she reappeared, she had a shirt and a pair of yoga pants. Excuse me. As she walked past him, Ike grabbed her hand. I'm sorry about all this. I'm sorry about everything, Ike said. Maya gripped his hand. Just get them, she said before going in the trailer. When she came back, Tangerine was with her. She had on the shirt and the pants. Both appeared 2 sizes too big. Tangerine swayed softly, but she didn't seem in danger of passing out again. Can I get that shirt? Ike asked. Buddy Lee hitched up his jeans and headed into the trailer. They can hear the shuffling of doors and the slamming of dresser drawers. A few minutes later, he came to the door and tossed Ike a flannel shirt. Belonged to my brother Deke. He stayed with me for a while a few years ago. He's about your size. Ike slipped on the shirt. It was tight in the arms, but it would do. I'll take your truck. Y'all sit right and wait till I come back. Ike, that truck is full of blood and the back window is blown out. It's leaking oil like a racehorse pissing. She's my baby, but I don't know how much longer she's for this world, Buddy Lee said. I don't want to leave y'all stranded without a car seat and with a truck that might seize up on you while you got Ariana with you. On the off chance that you have to leave. And if you did have to leave, I don't want her riding around in the night air, trying to be a good babysitter, like your friend said, Ike said. We ain't babysitting. We the grandparents. You could take the car and take her with you, Ma said. She likes to stay with you. I think she is scared of me sometime, Ike said. I think it's the other way around, but whatever. How long you gonna be, Maya asked. 15 minutes each way. Go on then. The quicker you leave, the faster you get back, Maya said. Give me the heater and you keep the street sweeper, Buddy Lee said. No guns around my granddaughter, Maya said. Maya, we have people looking for us. Those people have guns, Ike said. That's why you need to get going and bring your ass back. We'll be here. Go. Maya stood. Ike looked at Buddy Lee. Buddy Lee shrugged his shoulders. He was not stepping between a man and his wife. Better step between a hungry wolf and a rabid dog. Maya, I'm leaving the gun with Buddy Lee. I trust him, Ike said. He went to the truck and grabbed the MAC-10. When he handed it to Buddy Lee, they locked eyes. Buddy Lee nodded. This is all we got. That 45 is empty. You pulled on that thing until it went click. Give me the keys, Ike said. There's a spare under the visor. I'll keep my regular one so I can lock the door, Buddy Lee said. Let's go, Tangerine, Ike said. Ike got in the truck. Tangerine got in the passenger side. Bye, pretty lady, Ariana said. Tangerine smiled and waved at Ariana. Bye, sugar bottom, she said. Hurry back now. Don't pick up no stray hookers or wooden nickels. What? What? Don't pick up no stray hookers or wooden nickels. I know that's right. Buddy Lee said. Watch your mouth, Maya said. Sorry, ma'am, Buddy Lee said. 30 minutes, Ike said. He started the truck and backed out of Buddy Lee's truncated driveway. As the tail lights receded down the road, Buddy Lee, Maya, and Ariana went back inside the trailer. Buddy Lee gripped the MAC-10 with one hand and looked out the door with the other. Ike dialed Jazzy's number as he headed for the north end of Red Hill County. She picked up after 3 rings. Hey, Ike, what's up? Jazzy said. Jazz, I need a favor, Ike said. Jazzy must have picked something in the tone of his voice, because instead of sure or no problem, she said, what is it? I got a friend who needs a place to crash for a few days. She's been hurt. She got a bandage that's going to need help changing. I know you was a CNA before you came on with us at the shop, Ike said. Ike thought he heard the line hum, but he knew that was his imagination. Cell phones didn't have landlines that could hum. I was a CNA for 3 weeks. Lord, I don't know. I got to ask Marcus. I'll give you 2 extra weeks on your last check, Ike said. 2 weeks? Really? Really, Ike said. Jazzy sucked her teeth. That got to do with them biker boys from the other day, Jazzy said. Ike almost lied. Yes, but you'll be all right. No one knows where you live, and no one is following me, Ike said. He was doing his best to make sure that wasn't a lie. He took the long way down the back roads that made it harder for someone to hide a tail. I don't know, Ike, Jazzy said. 3 weeks. 3 weeks. Please, Jazzy, she needs help. If you don't want to do it for me, do it for Isaiah, Ike said. Them biker boys got something to do with what happened to Zay? Jazzy asked. Yeah, I'm pretty sure they did, Ike said. More silence. It floated between them, deep and oppressive. Finally, Jazzy spoke again. Okay, bring her over. How long you said she need to be here? Couple of days. Thank you, Jazzy. Ike said. I'm going to have to buy Marcus 2 new PlayStation games with that check to keep him from running his mouth, Jazzy said. See you in a bit, Ike said. He hung up. You ain't tell her, Tangerine said. I don't think it's my place to tell her anything, Ike said. You sure my mama is dead? Tangerine asked. The question almost made Ike run off the road. He chose his next words carefully. I don't know. Everything was happening so fast, but I don't think she made it, Ike said, his voice hoarse. Tangerine leaned her head on the window. Cool air filled the cab of the truck through the shattered rear window. Tangerine's hair danced and cavorted around her head like dark fairies. She only let me come home after I gave her half the money Tyreek had fronted me, $2,500, and she still kept calling me by my dad name. Tangerine said, Did you tell her you was running for your life? Ike asked. Yeah, that's why she didn't take all of it, Tangerine said. What's a dead name? Ike asked. Tangerine drew her legs up under her thighs. The name I was born with, not the name I chose. Tangerine said, The pictures on the wall, are they? That was before I found myself, Tangerine said. Oh, okay, Ike said. My daddy was half black, half Mexican, all man, like my mama used to say. He caught me wearing my mama's high heels one time, and he punched me in my chest so hard I spit blood for 3 days. He made me walk in high heels for the rest of the weekend, around and around the house until my feet bled, bleeding from my mouth, bleeding from my feet, hurting all over. That was when I really knew, Tangerine said. Knew what? Ike asked. That they got it wrong when I was born, that I was always a girl. It was people around me that wouldn't accept it. All that shit he did to me, and all I could think about was one day I'd find some heels that fit. Soon as I could, I got out of Bowling Green and headed for Richmond. Got into doing makeup and hair for people. And that's how I met Tyreek. Did the makeup for a couple of his videos. We started hanging out and he started letting me tag along the parties. After a while, the parties got fancier and fancier until one night we was at some ball for the city and I met him there. Capital H. From the start, it was different with him. Like Tariq, he knew, but he never seemed like he could accept the fact he liked me. We do stuff like not even sex stuff, just going out to the club, and then later he'd get high, hurt himself, slap me around, and then apologize. When I met him, he went old school and slipped me his number on a piece of paper. We got down a couple of times before I told him. I was so scared. You never know how a guy's gonna react. He didn't care. That was the thing he always said. I don't care about what's between your legs, just what's in your heart. Tangerine took a breath. I've been the fuck toy before. This felt different. It was different. Oh shit. I don't know why I'm telling you all this. Maybe because I'll probably be dead in a week and it don't matter, Tangerine said. That's not gonna happen, Ike said. Oh, you don't think so? No, I don't, Ike said. And why is that? Because once you tell me who it is, I'm gonna kill him. I'm gonna take my time and I'm gonna make it hurt. And I think you know I'm telling the truth, and I think that's why you won't tell me. Because you keep telling yourself you still love him, Ike said. Tangerine didn't say a word. She squeezed herself into a tight ball and put her chin on her knees. The truck hit a bump, and she winced as her arm bumped against the window. She put her good hand to her face and trembled all over. I keep trying to tell you, you don't understand. He cares about me. He can't be who he really is. His family won't let him. It's complicated. He's married. His family has this public persona that they'll do anything to protect. You can never understand this. No one judges you because of who you love, Tangerine said. I gripped the steering wheel tight as a vice. I don't know how many times I have to say this to you. He had my boy killed. Buddy Lee's boy too. He sent people to kill you. They killed your mama. That is who he is. You think he loves you? I get that. But a man don't hide what he loves. And he sure as hell don't let a son of a bitch try to put her 6 feet under, he said. Tangerine dug around in the pockets of the yoga pants. You hid from loving Isaiah, Tangerine said. Ike sucked at his teeth. I hid it from him. Not from anybody else. I gotta own that. I'm learning how to own that, Ike said. Tangerine licked her lips. Look here at this. Read this and tell me he doesn't care, she said as she scrolled through her phone. When she found what she was looking for, she handed the phone to Ike. She had pulled up a text message. The number she had been texting was saved in her phone as W. Ike flicked his eyes down at the phone as he scanned the black single lane road that unspooled in front of him like an oil slick. There is no one that understands me the way you do. When we are together, I can be my full self, no mask, and yes, the sex is amazing. Ike handed her back the phone. Let me ask you a question. He talks real nice, but has he ever taken you anywhere besides a motel? Has he ever taken you to the motel, or do you have to meet him there? Do you even have a picture together? Ike asked. Tangerine was quiet. That's what I thought. I ain't gonna pretend to know how hard it is for you, but you gotta know there's only one way this ends. It's either him or us. All of us, Ike said. He turned down Crab Thicket Road. Jazz's trailer was the last one on the left. Us? We're an us now? You didn't want nothing to do with your own son, but now I'm supposed to believe I'm a part of the team, Tangerine said. The words shot out of her mouth like shrapnel. You own the team because I can't let what happened to Isaiah and Derek happen to anybody else. I ain't gonna lie and say I get you, but because I don't. I can't even pretend I know what it must be like to be you. But if all of this has taught me one thing, is that it ain't about me and what I get. It's about letting people be who they are. And being who you are shouldn't be a goddamn death sentence, Ike said. I think about Isaiah and Derek a lot. If I had just kept my mouth shut, they would still be alive. Now my mama dead too. I can't do this anymore, Tangerine said. Ike passed a field full of hay bales being loaded onto a flatbed truck. The sun was setting quick, and the men in the field were moving fast to a beat of Old Soul before he vanished behind the horizon. The sky was full of ambers and magentas that ran together like melted wax. Ike pulled into a long driveway covered in crushed oyster shells that lined on both sides by a long throng of blackberry thickets and wild daylilies, their orange petals standing out in sharp contrast to the verdant green leaves of the blackberry bushes. At the end of the driveway was a white double wide with red shutters. Jazzy car was the only one in the front yard. Ike pulled alongside it and cut the engine off. I'm sorry, Ike said. Don't say that. Don't say that because you trying to butter me up, Tangerine said. No, I mean, I know you didn't mean for any of this to happen, but it did. And now this is where we're at. A man once told me we can't change the past, but we can decide what happened next. That's where you are at right now, Ike said. He got out the truck. Come on, let me introduce you to Jazzy. You sure she ain't gonna mind having me here? Tangerine said. She was still in the truck. I'm thinking she'll be okay with it. She ain't a dinosaur like me. And her and Isaiah were good friends in school. She knew he was gay long before I did, and she never turned her back on him, Ike said. I told you I'm not gay, Tangerine said. Jazzy is as close as we're going to get to an ally in Red Hill County, Ike said. Tangerine took a good hand away from her face. She used it to open the door. She followed Ike over the stepping stones to the front door of the double wide. Buddy Lee used the neck of the bottle of beer he was drinking to move the curtains of his living room window aside. The sun was dipping lower than a ballroom dancer. The tribe of country critters began to chant their nightly prayers. Frogs, crickets, and mockingbirds all sang songs of praise to their various gods. A cough seized his chest like the pinchers of a blue crab. Dots danced around in front of his face as he tried to force the sputum and phlegm out of his rotting lungs. A strong hand slapped his back, but Lee put his hands against his mouth and caught what his lungs had tried to hoard. Thank you. Got a bit of a bug in my throat, Buddy Lee said. He didn't want to wipe the blood and spit it on his pants, but he also didn't want Maya to see it. Her smooth, impassive face appraised him with the cool detachment of a woman who heard her share of death rattles. Cancer or emphysema? She asked. Can I have a tissue? Buddy Lee asked. Maya went to the kitchen and came back with a paper towel. Buddy Lee wiped his hands and then balled it up and put it in his pocket. Just a bug in my throat, Buddy Lee said. Maya put her hands on her hips. She seemed ready to call him a liar. Instead, she shook her head reproachfully and sat down on the couch with Ariana. Buddy Lee peered out the window again. Come on, Ike, Buddy Lee thought. Jazzy waved to Ike as he backed out the driveway. They had given Tangerine a sleeping pill and had put her in the back bedroom. Tangerine had been nervous about Marcus coming home and kicking her out, but Jazzy had assured her to be fine. Girl, as long as he got his call of duty and a bag of potato chips, he don't give a damn what's going on. He probably won't even notice you here, Jazzy said. Once they had put Tangerine in the bed, Ike had questioned how confident she was in that assertion. I don't know. He can be weird. I guess them 3 extra weeks will make him feel better about it, Jazzy said. Ike shifted the truck from reverse to drive and took off down the road. He had the truck up to 60 miles an hour as he crested around a soft curve. Shit! The word echoed in the cramped confines of the truck as Ike buried the brake pedal into the floor. That flatbed had been in the field, was now in the middle of the road on its side. Hay stretched across the roadway from the ditch to ditch like someone had just shaved a giant. Ike saw men moving around the truck. A few were standing with their hands in their pockets and their heads bowed. That was the universal sign language of having fucked up in a royal way. Ike put the truck in park. He hopped out and walked over to the man with his hands in his pockets. "Hey," Ike said. The man didn't acknowledge him. "Hey, man, what's going on here?" Ike said. "What it look like, Cochise?" Racism is funny and not in the ha-ha. "You gonna want to take some of that bass out your voice, son," Ike said. The man, a young white guy with sandy brown hair under a dirty trucker cap, gave Ike his full attention. He was taller than Ike by half a foot, but he took a step back. His subconscious warmed his body to protect itself. The truck driver overcorrected on the turn. He swear he wasn't on his phone, but we all know he lying, Trucker Cap said. "How long we looking at?" Ike said. Trucker Cap gave the question some thought. "You looking at about an hour at least, hoss. We gotta get the hay up and flip the truck over. Probably get a tow," he said. As soon as the words were out of his mouth, he took another step back. A dark cloud rolled over Ike's face like a thunderstorm coming in off the bay. "All right," Ike said. He pulled out a cell phone. Ma's phone went to voicemail. Ike cursed and dialed her again. It went straight to voicemail again. He called Buddy Lee, straight to voicemail. "Fuck," Ike said. Crab Thicket Road was a dead end, just like Town Bridge Road. The ditches on each side of the road were too deep for him to drive through and go around the overturned truck and all the spilled hay. He called Buddy Lee phone again. "Answer the phone, goddammit," Ike said. It went to voicemail again. Ike slapped the roof of the truck. He called Maya again. It went to voicemail. "Ain't much of a signal out here. We had to use the radio to call the record," Truck Cap said. Ike slammed his fist against the hood. He hit it again and again and again. What time is it? All right, these chapters are actually getting there. K order S 807. All right, family. I'll take that as a sign we'll chill. It's Christmas next week. We are not having no show next week for sure. Damn. Then it's New Year's after that too. Nah, I'll be alright. Y'all be alright too. Family, I appreciate your support as always. Don't forget, it's your opportunity to get a copy of 7 Spaces of Healing to help you on your own path to healing. You can get that on Amazon. If you can't click the link, you can just look it up on Amazon. 7 Spaces of Healing by me, Anthony Howell, Soul Swami. Outside of that, family, we'll probably do a book giveaway sometime next week too, where we'll start it. But family, I appreciate your support. I appreciate your energy and your time. And I hope that you have a great weekend. And until next time, family, peace.